The story of Dalmas Otieno cabinet stint and failed political whirlwind, what I think was called as Kalausi. Senator Eddie Okech will help us with that. It's also the main story, one of the main stories on the Standard. Defiant Moi era minister dies. Leaders have shared condolence messages describing former Rongo MP Dalmas Otieno as a visionary leader and astute businessman who served his country with unrivaled commitment. Otieno belonged among few politicians from the Luo Nyanza region who defied the region's political godfather Jaramogi Oginga Odinga in the late 80s and remained relevant. And we begin there with the passing of Dalmas Otieno, who served as Member of Parliament, as Minister, and recently, up until about 2022, was the Vice Chairperson of the Salaries and Remuneration Commission. Senator Okech, this is your constituent. So much has been said about him. What do you say?
It's a tough news for people of Migori County. Of course, we share in the pain and the loss of him as a father, first of all. Before he's a politician, he was a family man.
Yep.
And with a number of children who he has left behind. He has left two widows also behind, Dorothy and Mama Fred. And we want to take this opportunity to say sorry to them. Most importantly, he did not only serve as a member of MP for Rongo. He served as a minister, in a number of capacities during Moi era, but also during Kibaki era. You remember, during Kibaki era, he was also a minister. Yeah. But he also served, actually, as a peace envoy to Sudan when we had a lot of conflicts there. So as a statesman, he has really contributed to our country. And I think that the biggest challenge that we face as young people is that when you lose this kind of older statesmen, they go with a lot of knowledge and a lot of wisdom in what was there in the past. But we are grateful for the life he has shared with us. And most importantly, we are also grateful for the project that he has left behind. You must remember that he is the brainchild behind Rongo University, which becomes the first full-fledged university in Migori County. Right. That was established there. And he had some serious development track record, including an attempt actually to build a microfinance institution called Thabiti, which had the potential of becoming a modern-day equity bank. It didn't work then because of a number of political problems, but we glean morals from those kind of initiatives and thought processes in terms of development, and we will be informing the nation to stand with us as we wait to get a lot of information from the family in terms of burial plans, so that can give him a befitting send-off.
Right, and of course condolences to his family and friends and also the constituents in Migori County. Mheshimiwa Lote, your thoughts on how you will remember Dalmas Otieno?
Well, one of the things about Dalmas Otieno is a person that has contributed a lot to the politics of this country. Remembering very well that he joined politics in 1988, 43 years after he was born. I think after that, we've seen the people of Rongo electing him again, probably 3-4 times. And above that, even when Kibaki came into power recently, like 20 years ago, he was again elected. He actually sat in the ministerial position. And we've not just seen a person that was considered by his electorates, but also considered by Kenyans, because the name Dalmas Otieno is a name that is known by close to every Kenyans. We used to have one called William Oloaringo, who was anonymous to the Ministry of Education. And you know, these are kind of people that when they come, they leave an imprint that will always be remembered. And I think is my condolences to the people of Rongo, his family, but also to the Kenyans who have actually benefited. Those who've gone through Rongo University, those who've gone through the infrastructure that he did build in Rongo, and even when he was the minister, including the Minister of Roads, some of us enjoy the infrastructure that was led by him. And so for me, I think as a Kenyan, his condolences to all of us, but I also think he's lived his life well, because the Bible says that you've got 70 years, after which the rest is grace. So I think he's gotten like 10 years of grace, which is very good. We've seen people dying younger, but for him, I think we can say he did it well, and God has decided that now it's time for him to rest.
When you say 70 years, it seems like Sam's eyes popped out.
Sam is still too young. Sam is still too far from.
You should remember also that Dalmas was among the people who actually championed the retirement age from 55 to 60. So it seems like he's somebody who believes that life expectancy with modern medicine and proper economic development can be increased in Kenya. So we don't need to worry about 70 years.
you know, it's fascinating that Mheshimiwa Lote references Olo Aringo, and they really shared a lot of commonalities to the extent that they both served at the Salaries and Remuneration Commission. I think Aringo was representing Parliamentary Service Commission, and thereafter Dalmas Otieno went in there, I think also representing Parliamentary Service Commission. But Senator Okech, when you reflect on, because like you look at the story that is on the Daily Nation page too, talking about his political journey and how he carved out what would be described as an independent way of running politics, including Kalausi, a political movement aimed at challenging Odinga's influence in Luo Nyanza, when he sort of he left KANU for Raila Odinga's ODM, but later fell out with Odinga when he launched Kalausi. And thereafter, he didn't get a lot of success in subsequent elections. I don't know what you're learning when it comes to managing politics, but also when you have regional figures in different parts of the country.
I mean, our politics has always been a politics of very strong regional parties, and also comes with very strong personalities. And I think that he attempted a number of times to canvass around that, which is true. During Moi era, he was seen as the person who, was against the political tides of that time. But I think that his attempt to come back to ODM, I think that was in 2007, when he came back to ODM, and I think he was elected in that election. So it just shows his stature as a person. His fundamental beliefs. Sometimes and many times that I interacted with him. By the way, I had the chance of interacting with him a lot when I entered politics in 2017, and more strongly in 2018 when he supported my bid for the senatorial post in Ligori. And remember, in that senatorial post, I was also vying as an independent. And I had a lot to say about ideological leanings that sometimes tended for him to be more personal about the ideas of development that supersedes party positions or political figures' position. So that's why the idea called Kalausi, which is basically wild wine. He had an idea that he wanted to bring about wild wine, which I think that also somebody like Caleb Amisi and his friends are also struggling with. But that one's for later. Wow. So, just do it? I'm just welcoming. But I think the bottom line is that he's somebody who believes in some concepts individually grown and also communally shared on some concept of development, whether you look at education, whether you look at things like microfinance, whether you look at just political ideology around infrastructure that is basic for the community. Right. He believed in these things that sometimes the party at that time might not have been aligned with.
Okay, interesting. Caleb Amisi is the Member of Parliament for Saboti constituency. Good morning, Mheshimiwa.
Good morning.
And it's been a while. Karibu sana. We are talking about Dalmas Otieno, the former Member of Parliament and Minister who passed on yesterday. I don't know what your thoughts are this morning.
Yeah, Dalmas definitely is a leader to be remembered in this great republic. Not just because he was defiant, like I see it on the Standard newspaper here. Dalmas is a leader who has been remembered for standing on his principles, to telling it as it is, where he has worked as a minister, as a member of parliament, I think Rongo.
Right.
He has left a mark. So it's definitely those leaders that young leaders like us can look up to and remember. And of course, we used to admire his status as a minister in Moi's time, and I think also he served in Uhuru's time, as well as partly, yes, I think the second part of Uhuru's administration. And of course, from the Nyanza politics, like my friends say here, that he went against the grain when the region was predominantly ODM. These are people who dared the status quo and tried to vie with other parties.
Right.
Sometimes they managed, sometimes they didn't. But that is a democracy that we need to emulate, where people do not necessarily agree with the status quo. That's what democracy really is all about. Yeah.
And I'm looking at the story that is on page 2 of the Standard, detailing a part of what he was able to achieve in 1971, graduating from Makerere University with a bachelor degree in applied economics, graduated from the University of Nairobi with a master's degree in business administration. That is in 1980. Served as Chair Kenya Commercial Bank Board, 82 to 85. Became a member of parliament in 88, lost re-election in 1992, but was nominated and reappointed as Minister for Transport and Communication. In 1996, was sacked from the cabinet. In 2007, he resigned from KANU to join ODM, and he came back as a cabinet secretary, or the cabinet minister responsible for public service. Then in 2014, formed Kalausi movement and went ahead. He lost the election in 2017, then was appointed to the Salaries and Remuneration Commission. I'm just wondering, because this is a person, Mheshimiwa Lote, 1980, how old was he? He was about 35, if I'm not mistaken.
He was born 1945.
45 years.
So 1988 is when he actually went into politics. So that should be around 43 years.
Yes, I'm saying in 1980, graduating with a master's degree in business administration. Not many politicians are furthering their education
level
to that extent at the time. I don't know what lessons we are picking, even as we deal with the politics of the day, if you to reflect on 1980 versus, or even 1988 versus today.
Well, I think education of 1980s, 1990s was real education. I think what we see now, immediately with the introduction of degree-buying colleges, we find a lot of people having degrees that they did not merit. And so somebody goes to a university and within 2 years he's gotten a degree. I think at the point when he went to seek for education, he wasn't looking for education for purposes of him joining politics, because that was not a consideration for you to join politics. It was I think he went into getting his master's because he wanted knowledge. The education of then was looking for knowledge, but I think now the certificates that we see flying around, most of them are not just for knowledge, it's just for other purposes, probably for politics or probably for connections. So for me, I think Dalmas, even at the age of 40, getting a master's degree was something out of the world then, because that time people never even put a lot of emphasis on education. You saw a lot of people getting degrees, first degrees, second degrees, probably 1990s and 2000. Now is when we've seen everybody's going even for a PhD. It's becoming like the norm now, but then it was difficult.
Okay.
So I think he was an exceptional person, I can say.
All right, and may he rest in peace. Condolences to his family, friends, and constituents.